Today I'm going to be talking about mucus. That's right, mucus is the well-known world of the respiratory therapist. I'm well versed on mucus and whatever you want to call it. So mucus, phlegm, lung oysters, boogies, snot, sputum, all these precious liquids that come out of our airways. And when I say airways, we're talking about two different kinds of airways. We're talking about upper airways and lower airways. And the dividing point between the airways is our vocal cords, so in our throat. So anything below the vocal cords we call the lower airways, and that's basically things that are coming from the lungs. And above the vocal cords are the upper airways, so your nasal passages, the sinuses, mouth, throat, back of the throat. Those are the upper airways. And I'm going to share with you my experience with mucus as someone who lives with asthma and allergies. And my general experience with mucus is from my upper airways. So coming from my nose, I've got nasal drip for sure. It can be stimulated or come from reflux as well. So that's liquids that come up from your stomach or your esophagus, and that can stimulate some mucus production in the back of the throat as well. So as someone who lives with asthma, I am prone to having a drippy nose. I've had a drippy nose since I can remember. And so my usual way of managing it is with tissues. But there are other things that we can do to manage a drippy nose and mucus as well. So one thing I use to keep my asthma under control is I take Symbicort. And Symbicort is an inhaled medication, and I take that every day, and it keeps the mucus that's in my lungs totally in check. So I know if I don't take it, I'll start to get a dry cough, and I'll start to get chest tightness, and I'll start to wheeze. So the Symbicort keeps my lower airway mucus under control. So then I'm left to manage my upper airway mucus. And for me, most of the time, that is just a clear, steady little drip coming from my nose. So I usually use Kleenex, and that keeps it under control most of the time. I can manage it fairly well. But if I get sick, it gets way worse. I usually get quite a bit of sinus congestion when I'm sick. So what I do then is I call in the bigger guns, as they say. So one thing that I use is called desloratadine. The brand name is Arius. There are many different allergy medications out there. This is one of them. And I take it for seasonal allergies, and I know that it works. And sometimes when I get sick, I'll try taking this as well, which seems to reduce the inflammation and mucus production in my sinus cavities. When I take that medication, I have to take it for a few days before I really get the full impact. So it's not just a once and done kind of thing when I'm sick. But I also have allergies to dogs. And if I know that I'm going to be around dogs, which definitely sends me into congestion, I will take these antihistamines a couple of days before I have to be around a dog, right up until maybe the day after I've been around a dog. So my best strategy is avoiding dogs, but sometimes it can't be helped. And if I have a cold, I'll try taking the antihistamine for a few days and see if it helps me out. It usually does. And the best thing I can do when I have a cold is hydrate. It's always the best thing you can do. It can flush out toxins from your blood, so it can flush out the virus or a cold, but it also keeps you hydrated, including your mucous membranes. So if sinus congestion is a problem for you, try to drink more water, especially when you have a cold. And for me, that just keeps the mucus flowing instead of getting it all stuck up there where it could get infected, and it just blocks my breathing. So stay hydrated. That's the best tip of them all. And another thing I like to do is I'll use Flonase. So this is a steroid nasal spray, and this can help to decrease inflammation and thus decreasing some of the mucus production. Now this one also needs to be taken in advance, so it can take about a week before it really takes effect. So if I feel like I'm getting a cold and it's in my sinuses, I'll start to take the Flonase right away. And then I'll have to, you have to kind of load the dose, so you're taking a little bit more that first week, and then you can taper off. And I won't stop taking that until my cold is done. And that usually will decrease inflammation in my nasal passages and a little bit in my sinuses so that I can breathe more easily. And with all of this, there's still another trick that I can do, and that is a sinus rinse. So I use this one. The brand is Neilmed, but there are other brands out there. The one I use comes with a little bottle. They have some that look like a little teapot, or there's the neti pot as well. This one I find pretty convenient, and it comes with little saline packets that are the right amount of saline for the size of the bottle. And I fill it with water from my kettle. So I boil the water to help make sure that it's sterile, and then I let it cool down. And I let it cool down to the point where it's still warm, because if it can be closer to your body temperature, for me that just feels nicer when I use it. And then this rinse, you squirt it up one side of the nose and let it flow out the other side, and then you blow that clean, and then you put it up the other side, let it flow out the other side, standing over the sink obviously, and then blow it out to clean everything out. And that will keep my nasal passages pretty clear for several hours. So I do end up using it 3 or 4 times a day when I have a cold, just to keep my nose clear. But the difference is amazing. So with all of these tricks up my sleeve here, I managed to keep my sinuses clear, get the mucus out, and it leaves me breathing easy. Comment below what your tricks are when you have allergies or a cold or a virus that's increasing your mucus. I'd like to hear what you've got and what you've been doing. Take care, easy breathing.